Greet you all students of MA Final. This is paper 4th unit C. Now we are going to have quality time with the next poet, R. Parthasarthy, an eminent Indian poet in the galaxy of Indian English poets. Earlier we lived and learned a lot with Nizam Askell. The life is, see, the journey from darkness to light. And we can derive positivity even from negativity. And now, here have, we are going to meet our Parthasarthy. And his name has become a prominent signature in the whole range of Indian English poetry. And especially students, mind you, an emblem of cultural ethos. What is the reason behind it? Because he hails from Tamil Nadu and he was born in Tiruparutturoi near Tirupalli. So this is, Tiruchirpalli. This is, Tamil Nadu. It's a small place, his native place. And his, life, which is amalgamation of various cultures. See, he was educated in Leeds University. So he stayed there for several years. And his roots are obviously in Indian culture. So this is, the Western culture and the culture, rituals, and see the focus on spiritualism in Tamil Nadu, and obviously his roots in Indian society. And he has become famous, especially for the publication of this 10 20th century Indian poets, publication Oxford University. See the poets prescribed in your syllabus like Nizam Askell and Kamla Das, Jayant Mahapatra. So these are, all the various others, etc. So, and he is the editor of this famous poetic collection. And R. Parthasarthy, his poetic collection prescribed in your syllabus 3 poems, students. Here, we have 3 poems prescribed in your syllabus. First, and all these poems from his famous poetic collection. The title is Rough Passage. Title, it has symbolical significance, and we would discuss in detail see the life in which we have different kind of experiences with the combination of positivism and also at the same time adverse circumstances, hardships, struggles. So rough, here it implies that. So title itself is suggestive because he lived there in Leeds University. He was, educated over there. And therefore, the life, and he was all the time exploring his roots, the his belongingness and bondings with India. So, 3 poems, students, mind you here. Listen carefully. 3 poems prescribed in your syllabus, and all these poems from Rough Passage. Exile, and see, this is in order. First, he has composed Exile, and Trial, second one, and third is Homecoming. So finally, see the exploration. We have some kind of, when you start journey, you tend to reach destination if you have determination. So Homecoming, it implies his life, his quality time in India with the, cultural ethos, in his poems, we have a reflection of that. Now, as we have, already discussed this important point that he is editor of this famous collection, and see the publication, Oxford University. Now, when we talk about R. Parthasarthy, the important aspect is that his growth, Parthasarthy's growth as a man and a poet, and his personage. It was marked by his scholarly vision as an Indian poet. And now, when we talk about his persona, his personage, his personality, see, the point is that he has been a man of academic excellence. And he was a British Council scholar in the year 1963-64, and he was educated at Bombay University and also Leeds University. I mean, this is the biographical sketch, and students, they must have idea about it, they must know it. And see, when I talk about the culture ethos in the beginning, and the reason behind it that the poet, he is brought up in distinct and rather opposite culture. Exactly, he himself has used the word opposite cultures, like Tamil culture and the Western culture. And here again, and yeah, when we talk about our Parthasarthy, we have some common features. When we talk about, say, when we discussed earlier Nizam Askell, some similar features and forces in the lives of our Parthasarthy and Nizam Askell. And even we have some common theme, common, opinion about, and the ideas and the very significant ideas in these poets, because entire world, the axis of entire world is obviously humanistic approach. And do you remember Nizam Askell's poems, when he say he has discussed and he focused the humanizing power, he has idealized this humanizing power. And see, the life which is, and even poetry, when we poetry way of life, and which is an expression of human sensitivity and sensibility. This is what he has. And here, when we talk about some common features and forces, are Parthasarthy, he has, he's connected with Bombay, both of them, Nizam Askell and R. Parthasarthy is connected because he was brought up over there in Bombay, and then he was educated in Leeds University. So this is very significant point, that some common features in these two famous poets. And see, even the themes we have, themes of alienation and loss of identity when they lived in England, and especially Nizam Askell also, he has also talked about it. But at the same time, see, as you studied his poem, Nizam Askell's poet, Lebanon Bird Watcher, see the life which is, journey towards illumination. So it's not, I mean, very significant point is that they are not confined with this theme. What is significant and about these poets, that we have humanistic approach, and see the combination, rather, integration of language and culture. See, when we see language through culture and culture through language, when we say, when we discuss and when we encapsulate the significance of language in human life, obviously it is integrated with culture, associated with that, and intensely associated with culture. And see, the when we here focus the persona of our Parthasarthy, uh, at least you should have a deeper understanding and knowledge about his biographical sketch as well, and his conception of poetry. We will discuss so many important points about that. And see here, just have a look here. Uh, he was, say, British council scholar in the year 1963-64, and he was educated at Bombay and Leeds University. So this is and see here the place he was born where. Yes, tongue twister, Tiruparutharoi, and which is, the place near Tiruchirappalli. So this is the place in Tamil Nadu, 1934. And yeah, when we talk about his academic excellence, he was recipient of various important literary awards like poetry on Poetry India. This, very prestigious award. And he served Bombay University as a lecturer in English, and became an eminent poet and writer, especially because of his constant passion for creative writing. And yeah, and he's, another collection. When we talked about this, as you just have a look here, especially, he has become popular for rough passage, but at least students, they should have deeper understanding about that. And you should have, in examination, you maybe put up several questions, but even for your personal enrichment, you should know that Poetry from Leeds is another, poetic collection. So here we have two anthologies. We have, this 10th, 20th century poets, and we have this Poetry from Leeds, these anthologies. You should have knowledge of this, at least at this level, MA level. And now he got opportunity to serve as a regional editor of Oxford University Press, Madras, New Delhi, and Hyderabad. Here, some famous quotation. When we start studying our Parthasarthy, here we have, this is very important point. Is, see, here we has this preface. Now, what is the reason? Just have a look that an eminent critic, K.R.S. Iyengar, he appreciates our Parthasarthy's extraordinary talent and his brilliance. When he talks about, he's a very sensitive person. So here now, because even in preface, he see the kind of language he has used, that he is indebted to his friends, and see, he has making friends. He here see focused these eminent Indo-English poets, Askill in his poetic in this anthology, and all these poets. So making friends, this is the crux of this, the congeniality, the kind of, say, we have humanitarian approach. So all these poets, some common aspects, and from the point of view of examination, and also you should have knowledge at this level, that some common aspects in all these poets. And when we talk about K.R.S. Iyengar, here, each and every student, mind you, listen carefully, that you should know this famous quotation when we talk about preface in this anthology. See, this quotation is very important when we study our Parthasarthy. And now, what did he say? Iyengar, famous critic, he's, his best way is revealing this uncommon talent, extraordinary talent in him, and the passion for writing. See, it is reminiscent of, say, Nizam Askill's poem. Do you remember? Poet, lover, and bird watcher. That kind of, this divine inspiration you must have. And if you have this kind of, see, a passion and this poetic spirit, then only you can write. And it is, famous maxim that that a poet, he possesses extraordinary sensibility, and and poet is the person, the poet is a person who, when you see somebody is suffering in the society, or there is some kind of predicament or some problems or burning issues, he not only sheds, he is the first person to shed tears, not only tears, but to contribute to society, how to eradicate that problem. And here is the zeal, and here is the spirit of poetic spirit, we would call. And that's why I reiterate the significance of this famous quotation. And now, what is this quotation, students? See, if you learn and if you write these quotations, you would secure very good marks. And I mean, not only confining to the examination. Obviously your study must be examination oriented, but at the same time, see, you must have cognizance, you must be aware of the different burning issues in the society. And this is what exactly we find. I mean, we have variety of theme. Earlier also we discussed this point in much detail. And here, now, in this famous quotation, Iyengar, he points out his extraordinary talent. Now, the reason is that our Parthasarthy, he has been very sensitive and, yes, at the same time observant and truthful. Because, say, when we discuss his conception of poetry, Arth Parthasarthy's conception of poetry, we come to know about that poetry, which is, as Nizam Askels, he is also of the opinion that is an expression of truth. Even in some experience, if you have in your life, different kind of experiences, it is an expression of truth. Or say the combination of that, when it is integrated with humanitarian approach. So here, truthful, observant. Observe. Now, see, the observation word is very significant when we talk about, when we discuss, when we encapsulate different dimensions, multi-dimensional features of poetry. And say observation in day-to-day life, what is going around the society, and see your experiences. Because when here Parthasarthy's opinion about the poetry, conception of poetry, that we would discuss in much detail, that poetry, see, it tends to rise from personal to universal. It is sort of universal experience. Your experience, you are not confined to yourself. When you observe some, say, significant feature, some force, some burning issue in the society, at that time, in the beginning, it may be personal, but then you definitely you tend to rise from personal to universal. So this, sensitivity is very important, observant and truthful, as in his conception of poetry. And Anger here, he appreciates, he admires his extraordinary talent in art Parthasarthy. And he also, talks about that no wonder that the poem here, so few, but they are marble image of integrity. Now, another important point, feature in R. Parthasarthy, he has become popular for images. And see, he himself has pointed out that poetry, in a way, it is an expression of images through language. And we have, imagery and metaphor also. For instance, if we talk about metaphor of life. Again, we are reminded of Nizam Haskell, the metaphor of light in human life. And we have expedition, this expedition, exploration of different dimensions when he discussed all these important points in his poems. So here, some exploration in life. See, students, these poems must be source of inspiration for you also when you are interested in creative writing. See, and you also, I mean, metaphor in the sense, and imagery and metaphor. So poetry, obviously, expression of that. Now, and then another important feature in our Parthasarthy is the description of Indianness also, as in these three poems when we talk about exile, trial, and homecoming, and his another anthology in his poetic collection, Poetry from Leaves. And I mean, in these poems, we common feature is as in Nizam Haskell, or be it say other like Jayant Mahapatra or say Kamla Das. So it describe Indianness, Indian culture, ethos, and the feelings, the sensitivity and sensibility, and the how life it has become important when we are connected with the society and what is going on. I mean, the burning issues, the problems prevailing, how to uproot all these problems, and say hardships and struggle. I mean, this is we have much in much detail, and we will discuss obviously in much detail. Now, need for root. I mean, then we have root, the significance. I mean, now we have this root word, metaphor of root again. When we talk about imagery and metaphor of root, root. Now, at surface level, root. I mean, you, for instance, he is born in this place in Tamil Nadu and all that, or you also talk about yourself, students, each and every student, your native place. But at the same time, we have multi-dimensional significance of the word root. And in the sense, for instance, we have this, Vedic culture, we have, say, Upanishad, we have Puran, and we have Bible, all these, we have Quran Sharif, we have Bhagavad Gita, all these roots, significance, and how do we learn through these roots. Roots in the sense of wisdom, roots also in the sense of experiences. So this is very, very prominent word, and you being a student of MA, you must have deeper understanding of the word root when we talk. And then we have, see, imagery when we talk about, we discuss this, see the images like lamp, tree, snow, wall, all these images we have, city, class, and fog, all these images, yeah, beautiful, the image of mother. Again, it is reminiscent of Nizam Haskell in the Night of Scorpio. See the ideal mother, and we are really deeply attached with the significance and the metaphor of mother. Okay, so we'll continue. Thank you.